There are two key set-piece events going on. We've got PMQs at midday, which are quite frankly going to be fireworks. And we have a liaison committee meeting this afternoon, which is undoubtedly going to provide some very difficult questions for the Prime Minister, if indeed he's able to attend them.
Certainly, and the message that we're getting from Downing Street, the message that was clearly sent last night, just a couple of hours after those resignations dropped, within 10 minutes of each other, just after 6 p.m. yesterday. The message from Downing Street is it's business as usual, that these are jobs that were swiftly replaced, that they're getting on with the job. But just how will that land with MPs? It will be fascinating to be watching what sort of reaction Boris Johnson gets as he walks into the chamber. Usually a big roar from those MPs behind him. Perhaps it will be less ebullient today. But also, of course, we'll be expecting some more junior roles to be filled. Not a wide-ranging reshuffle, of course, but in his last-minute shuffling of the decks in terms of getting a new Chancellor and a new Health Secretary, well, there's a gap in terms of who is his Chief of Staff. There's indeed a gap in terms of who is the Solicitor General. There are gaps to be filled today as well, so we'll be expecting some more appointments, perhaps some members of Parliament walking down this street later on this morning too.
Well, Tom, let's analyse a little bit about what happened last night, because it was around 6 o'clock when, in quick succession, and we're told not in a coordinated attack on the premiership of the Prime Minister. First of all, it was Sajid, Javid, the Health Secretary. I just want to read out some of the comments that he said. I'm instinctively a team player, but the British people also rightly expect integrity from their government, which is a strong words from a former loyalist. We may not always have been popular, but we have been competent in acting in the national interest. Sadly, in the current circumstances, the public are concluding that we are neither. And then Rishi Sunak, the Chancellor, saying the public rightly expect the government to be conducted properly, competently and seriously. I believe these standards are worth fighting for, and that is why I am resigning. Now, that happened. Huge blow, and obviously not expected by the Prime Minister, but those posts quickly filled by number 10 last night, and rumours about some of the goings-on and the tussles between some of the other cabinet members and who was to be appointed.
Absolutely. Rumours about a tussle between then Education Secretary Nadhim Zahawi, now, of course, Chancellor, and Liz Truss, the Foreign Secretary, with Boris Johnson toying between the two of them in terms of who would become Chancellor. It's interesting, though, the succession of these letters, obviously kicked off by Sajid Javid with his letter, clearly not feeling able to defend the shifting line that had taken place between Friday and indeed Monday on this matter of what the Prime Minister knew and when about Christopher Pincher and his various appointments within government. It just seemed to be the case, I think, to Sajid Javid and indeed some other members of Parliament that the Prime Minister promised to shore up his number 10 operation. At the tail end of what was the Partygate investigation, he promised number 10 reform. He promised a more professional operation, fewer moving lines, and really what the scandal over the weekend demonstrated is that this was not as professional as an operation as had been promised. And then, of course, Rishi Sunak's letter, undated as it was, perhaps he had that in his back pocket in case there was any resignation taking place. Okay.